Hello tacticians, today we're going to talk about the patch 13.5, everything it contains, but most importantly we're going to talk about the tier list of the best comps. Of course, I don't know if you read through it, if you watched some videos about it. I am kind of skeptical about this patch. I think they made a lot of mistakes. They completely destroyed and butchered Chem Baron, and they didn't even give us a little bit of love to Ziggs, which is basically, it was and it still is the only unit with an average worse than 5. I think they missed quite a lot of stuff in this patch. But let's talk about, more importantly, I think what most of you are interested in, the tier list, right? I've been following, of course, some pro players having scrims because some big upcoming tournaments are coming in, and so far I don't see many changes in the meta. I already updated my tier list and I put the link in the description. I would say as usual now. I maintain this every day, so you can be sure that it's always updated. And to be fair, there are a few comps which became better, some worse, and well, we will see. Sorcerers, to me, is the biggest winner. It was already the best comp, one of the best comps, let's say, last patch, but with the buff of 4 emissaries and having some other comps which are nerfed, made Sorcerer just easier to play and easier to score a top 4 with it. Then we still have Ambusher Smeech. Now you can still use Chem Baron, of course. I would suggest maybe to cash every time you reach 100 if you have a duplicator inside, because sometimes 200 or 300 doesn't give you a good item for Smeech, and then after you just play Chem Baron and you have bad items for it, so it can be bad, right? I'm going to explain a little bit the comps later. We have Renata Visionary, 7 Rebel, big winner, big winner of this patch. The more health given to the Rebel helped them quite a lot. TF Quickstriker also, thanks to the Rebel buff. If you check the stats, I won't do that for everything, but if you check the stats, you will see that TF Quickstriker is having a better average compared to last patch, simply because Akali, Illaoi, and Irelia are getting more health thanks to Rebel, and that actually makes a difference. We have Sentinel Academy going up thanks to Emeraldinger buff and also Sentinel buff. 8 Enforcers remains the same, Gloves of remains the same. 6 Scrap is probably the biggest loser. It just goes from tier 1 to tier 1 minus, like if you, I would say like tier A plus, right? If you prefer. So still very good. You just need to have good Ogmas to play and you still have a very good game. Then we have Urgot. Dominator Silco is coming back a little bit, but definitely not an S tier comp, definitely not. Cassio Dominator as well, it's coming in, but not an S tier comp. And that's it. So for today's video, we're gonna talk mostly about the S tier, the tier 1 comps. And then after, of course, you can just access to this spreadsheet whenever you want. And then see how the comps for everything look like. Okay, so if you want to play Sorcerer and you have a +1 Sorcerer, I suggest you to play this version with 4 Emissary. It just got buffed, so it's much easier to play around. And play, if you can, Swain as your main carry and LeBlanc as your secondary carry, or vice versa. You can use Nami while waiting for LeBlanc. The thing that you really need to understand is like it's better to stabilize with 4 Emissary than you play 6 Sorcerers, rather than 6 Sorcerers and then 4 Emissary, because it's a little bit awkward. You have a very strong stage 4 game if you manage to have 4 Emissary and 4 Sorcerers. It's really powerful. It will help you to push to level 9 at stage 5, something like this, where you can actually feed the 6 Sorcerers with the 4 Emissary. If you don't have an emblem, you're probably going to stay at 4 Emissary, 4 Sorcerers for a very long time, and maybe until the end of the game. And you can expect to have a 4th place at best with this situation, but at the same time, it's kind of normal in the sense that you don't have the win conditions in your hands, so it's normal that you cannot win. Then let's talk about Ambusher Smeech. Still very strong. The idea is to play around Smeech. If you have an Ambusher emblem, it's actually very good start. So maybe a +1 Ambusher at 2-1 can give you the will to play Smeech. Here I put double Hush, but in all honesty, you need so many gloves and so many tiers that you can replace one of the Hush by BT. That's actually the most common build, as it helps you to recycle your items a little bit better. But in case you have something like Pandora's Bench, no, not Pandora's Bench, sorry, Pandora's items, you can aim for something like this, which is a little bit better. But again, very small optimization. If you have Chem Baron, you still have to play Chem Baron until the end. Ideally, you just keep 3 Chem Barons, which are Singed and Rainy. They go. You can even make Rainy 3 when you reroll for Smeech. You will look for items like Executioners and Flesh Ripper. And if you don't have anything, you will be quite dependent on finding Jigs if you want to finish first. So this comp can finish first without any emblem, but if you don't have Jinx, it's never going to be first. That's for sure. Then let's talk about Renata. Renata has been very consistent and strong the last patch, and it remains the same. The small nerf on 6 Visionaries doesn't change anything, to be honest. And there's one thing that really is different from the first Renata version we used to play at the beginning of the set. It is that we prioritize 6 Visionary above 4 Sentinels or 6 Sentinels. This is extremely important. When at the beginning of the set, we used to play 6 Sentinels and then we splash in 2, 4 Visionaries, sorry. Here is the opposite. So whenever you can put 6 Visionaries, put it, and then after you just have 2 Sentinels, because usually at level 6, level 7, you don't have that much space. Then at level 8, you can have 4 Sentinels and stuff like that. Obviously, if you have a Visionary emblem, that makes it even easier. And you want to have that on Rumble because, in case you didn't know, Rumble has feature, which is like, if it doesn't touch a lot of units, he gets back a lot of mana. And this mana can be multiplied if he's a Visionary. So you can see on Rumble literally permacasting, and that's it, and you win the fight. So this is very, very strong. If you don't have, you can also play with a Sentinel emblem, but I do think the Sentinel emblem is less valuable than the Visionary emblem. So I would say try not to pick a Prismatic +1 Sentinel. I think it's not that great. And if you don't have any emblems, of course, you have to fit all the units together. It's a little bit more tough, but it's definitely not impossible, especially if you have augments like Starry Nights and stuff like that, which are literally the best items here. Okay, so let's look at Rebel. So Rebel has been buffed and all units are slightly tankier, which actually makes quite a difference because since your whole team is Rebel, so your whole team is tankier and more difficult to kill. So there's still one issue with Rebel, which is how dependent it is to find Jinx. That is the truth, and this is something you cannot really change. But if you have an emblem, it actually makes it easier to reach level 9 and find Jinx. You will play around Zoe with attack speed. She likes attack speed more than mana. And you still build a Shojin, you can give that on Zoe for sure. And once you find Jinx, you put that on Jinx. This is very important. This is your first place win condition. Once you have that, you have a very high chance to finish first or second, depending on what the guys have in front of you, of course. If you don't have an emblem, which is something I would recommend a little bit less, because this is the moment when you have to find Jinx. If you don't find Jinx, you will struggle to finish 4th. That's kind of the same issue as playing Enforcers, to be honest. But it doesn't mean that the comp is bad. You can still finish 4th while low rolling. And if a comp can finish 4th by low rolling, to me, it sounds like to be a good comp, right? So this is it. Just make sure, again, you play attack speed on Zoe. You keep mana on Jinx. Without Shojin, she's useless. And finally, the last comp I really like. I feel like it's a little bit underestimated by a lot of people. It's not necessarily easy to play. It's TF and Akali. So if we look at the stats, at patch now, TF3 with 3 items at 4 Quickstriker. I don't put Akali and everything yet. It's 3.58, which is quite nice. We can add Akali 3 with 3 items is 3.19. That's really good. That's really good. And if we look at the previous patch, it's 3.3. So it means that this got better. And you know why? Simply because 3 Rebel got buffed. So you have Irelia, Eloy, and Akali who are a little bit tankier. And that actually makes a difference. So if you want to play this comp, I suggest you to reroll at level 7 because you want to reroll TF, Loris, and Akali, and also at level 7 you have fair odds of finding Illaoi and Ambessa. You will want to have a lot of items to play this comp because you want to play Akali, you want to play TF, you want to play Loris, and why not, you can also stuff Ambessa, you can stuff Illaoi, you can stuff Rumble. This comp has a lot of item scaling. You can really stuff a lot of units and still being relevant. It kind of feels like scrap. The more items you have, the better this comp becomes. And then for the anomaly, go on Akali, on TF. Here I put 3 examples for Akali: Bully, Last Chance, Invisibility. On TF, I tried recently Touch of Frost, and Touch of Frost is really, really strong. Now it got buffed again, so don't hesitate to pick that with TF, it's insanely good. Alright, that's it for this video. You have still many other viable comps. Sentinel Academy that got buffed with the Heimerdinger and Rebel. You have 8 Enforcer, Gloves of 6 Scrap, which is still good. Urgot Reroll, which I wrote here. I feel like it's a little bit more difficult to play now. It's best to try it when you have Unleash the Beast or Innervating Locket to ensure a first place. Dominator Silco really dependent on Mordekaiser. If you have a good Mordekaiser, you can have good games. If you don't have a good Mordekaiser, it's gonna be bad. Kinda similar to 7 Rebel, but worse. And then you have all these things that you can play from time to time. I keep this spreadsheet updated, so make sure to go on there and save it, because I hope this spreadsheet will help you climb to the rank you deserve. Until next video, see you at the top of the ladder.